You've probably heard the word cholesterol 1,000 times, right? But let's be honest. For a lot of us, it's just a number our doctor mentions. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on cholesterol. We're going to make sense of those numbers because they tell a really important story about your heart's health. All right, let's get into it.
So, let's kick things off with a big question. When you hear the word cholesterol, does your brain immediately jump to bad? It's a super common reaction, but it's not that black and white. What if I told you that your body actually needs cholesterol to function? That's right, your body can't live without it. So to understand why cholesterol gets such a bad rap, we have to talk about the two different types. We've got the good guys and the bad guys. Let's break it all down.
So check this out. Cholesterol itself isn't the villain. It's this waxy stuff that's essential for building our cells and making really important things like hormones and vitamin D. Your liver is actually a little cholesterol factory. It makes all you need. The problems start when we get too much of the wrong kind of cholesterol in our system.
And here they are, the two main characters in our story. On one side, you've got LDL. That's the bad cholesterol. Think of it as the villain of the story, the one that can clog up your arteries. But on the other side, you've got HDL, the good cholesterol. HDL is our hero. Its job is to cruise through your bloodstream and basically clean up the mess left by the bad LDL. The takeaway here is super simple. LDL, you want low. HDL, you want high.
Now that we know who our hero and villain are, let's talk about what happens when that bad guy, the LDL, starts to take over. This is serious stuff, and it's so important to understand the risks.
And don't just take my word for it. This quote from Medline Plus says it all. When your LDL levels get too high, your risk for major heart problems shoots way up. This isn't just some small health issue, it's a huge risk factor for some of the most serious things a person can go through.
So how exactly does the damage happen? Well, it's a slow, sneaky process. First, that extra LDL starts sticking to the walls of your arteries, forming this gunk called plaque. Step 2. As that plaque keeps building up, your arteries start to get hard and narrow. It's like a traffic jam building up on a major highway. Step 3. Given enough time, that plaque can cause a total blockage, cutting off blood flow completely. And that leads to Step 4, a major health disaster like a heart attack or a stroke. It's a silent process, but the consequences can be devastating.
Okay, I know that all sounds pretty scary, but here is the really good news. You have the power to find out exactly what's going on inside your body. So let's talk about the tool that lets you do just that, the cholesterol test.
It's just a simple blood test, often called a lipid panel. That's all it takes. But the information it gives you, it is so powerful. It's a snapshot of your heart disease risk, and it can literally help save your life by catching problems early. So, how often should you be getting checked? Well, it really depends on your age. Doctors often recommend a first test between ages 9 and 11. For younger adults, it's usually about every 5 years. But as you get older, you got to be more on top of it. For men over 45 and women over 55, that jumps to every 1 to 2 years. And once you're over 65, it's a good idea to get it checked annually. So, a little food for thought, when was the last time you had yours checked?
Okay, so you went and got the test. Now you have this piece of paper with a bunch of numbers on it. This is the important part, understanding what they're actually telling you. Let's crack the code.
This table lays out the general goals for adults. You'll see a few numbers on your report, but the two we really want to focus on are LDL and HDL. Remember our hero and villain? You want your LDL, the bad guy, to be low. And you want your HDL, the good guy, to be high, generally over 40 for men and over 50 for women. But the number that doctors are really focused on
Is this one right here. If you remember one single number from this entire explainer, please make it this one. For your LDL, that's bad cholesterol, the ideal target for most people is less than 100. That is the number to keep your eye on for your heart health.
So, you have your numbers. You know your targets. What's next? This final part is all about feeling empowered. It's about the very real steps you can take to manage your cholesterol and protect your health.
It's true. We can't change our age, and we can't change our family history. But that doesn't mean you're just a passenger on this ride. The choices you make every single day can have a huge impact on lowering that bad cholesterol.
So, what can you actually do? It's not about some magic fix. It's about making smart, sustainable changes. Eating a heart-healthy diet, especially cutting back on saturated fats from things like red meat and fatty dairy, makes a massive difference. Getting active and managing your weight are also incredible tools for lowering LDL and boosting your good HDL. And hey, even things like quitting smoking, lowering your stress, and limiting alcohol, It all adds up. Think of this as your personal roadmap to a healthier heart.
At the end of the day, your cholesterol numbers tell a story. But you know what? You're the one holding the pen. You get to decide what happens next. By understanding these numbers and taking action, you can write a much longer, healthier next chapter for yourself.